I tell you that wind is something else. But you withstood the rain, and you're back with us. Look here, I can't tell you what a great gathering here. I would like to thank the organizers of Act Now, Unite to End Racism, who graciously invited me to introduce this call to action. In perhaps the most iconic moment in his career, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood not too far away from here, where we are right now, and called on our nation to awaken and to confront its shameful bigotry and to transform itself into a beloved community. Dr. King's voice, his call to action, echoes through the halls of history, pulsating reminder for us to continue to work for justice. Dr. Martin Luther King was both the map and the compass for the American people. There's no singular explanation that can do justice to the legacy of a man who fully embodied, but to do his memory to justice, we must unlock our potential to live and work in his spirit. At around 6 p.m. on Thursday, August 4th, 1968, the United States lost the captain of its moral destiny, the one most uniquely suited to help it master its moral faith. Although our civic discourse in the past half-century have often reduced Dr. King to a brief snippet of one of his many dreams, the enduring potency of his legacy lies in his work to oppose the false teachings of unchecked militarism and unrestrained capitalism. While racism was the context for his activism, Dr. King saw and made us see the ways in which racism intersect with other issues, namely poverty and militarism. Dr. King understood with absolute moral clarity that this nation's path forward required not only to face the fullness of its past wrongs, but also to making corrective amends for them in substantive corrective terms. In Dr. King's speeches and writings, our nation found solace and meaningful guidance, as well as an honest reflection of the wickedness and animated much of our history. On the 50th anniversary of his death, a time in which the United States yet again faces the kind of social and cultural strife we never thought we'd ever see again. What are we to make of Dr. King's legacy and the progress we so earnestly thought we had made? Dr. King's life showed us the power of being unafraid to advocate for truth, plural truths. Dr. King was unafraid to reach across some of this country's most treacherous divides: race, class, gender, sexual orientation, and religion, to build relationships that gave rise to coalitions, from working alongside with white activists to drawing on the spiritual teachings of Satyagraha that were rooted in Hinduism, and collaborating with LGBT luminaries like Bayard Rustin and James Baldwin, and socialists like Jack O'Dell. Dr. King showed us that differences need not be limitations in forming civic relationships, especially when those relationships are rooted and a sincere regard for truth and justice. The truth can and does set us free, but it cannot defend itself. As socially and politically engaged people, we must not allow the truth to lose ground. Just as we arm ourselves with the truth, we must arm the truth with ourselves, our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our very soul. As a new generation of young people follows in Dr. King's footsteps, we must nurture their inborn orientation toward justice, towards truth, towards fairness. We must show them how to free themselves with the truth and how to protect the truth for the sake of humanity's future. We must resist the tendencies toward conflating hero worship with doing the work of Dr. King's that Dr. King's legacy demands. Dr. King saw himself as a part of a movement, not as the movement. Everything he did was firmly within the realm of human ability, and everything he dreamed for us was in the realm of human possibility. We know him to be a prophetic, but what was his prophecy? What were the ways in which Dr. King foretold our present state of affairs? And what path forward did he chart for us? To move beyond Vietnam, the most intractable global conflict of his day, Dr. King successfully argued 1 year to the day before his assassination that we must prioritize programs of social uplift over military defense. It is only through elevating our society and through elevating and loving the best in every one of us will we survive those wars together. Dr. King called on us to undergo a revolution of values when he testifies, when machines and computers, profit motives and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. We have seen the impact of automation in our labor markets, racial and religious animus in our politics, and the continued tendency toward valuing material wealth over human decency. None of us can say with any deep honesty that Dr. King would be satisfied if he were here with us today. Not when we have continued to delude ourselves into believing the myth that capitalism grew and prosperity out of Protestant ethics of hard work and sacrifice. Not when we are yet as a society to reckon deeply with the fact that capitalism was built on the exploitation and suffering of black slaves and continues to thrive on the exploitation of the poor, both black and white, and both here and abroad. Not when deportations, police violence, hate groups, militaristic belligerence, mass shootings, and income inequality are our society's most pressing challenges. The three stained evils of our society, militarism, poverty, and racism, create continual social upheaval, leaving the most righteous among us, our children, to rally in defense of their most basic asset, their lives. Dr. King wanted them. He wanted our society, a society of all people all over the world, to abandon its march towards spiritual death and to embrace politics, indeed civic religion, that authenticates us all through our shared humanity. Our humanity was enough in the world for Dr. King to work so valiantly to create. It is only through elevating and loving the best in one another that we will survive those wars together. It is not enough of us to speak superficially of Dr. King's beloved community. We must give the concept depth by focusing on the operative word, love, by awakening our nation to the sins of racism, confronting racial bias, discrimination, and injustice, and transforming our society, most fundamental systems, policies, and institutions. We must go even further to act against the culture of violence. We must act against sexism, homophobia, ableism, ageism, religious bigotry, abuse, corruption, dishonesty, degradation, and manipulation, all in the name of what Dr. King wanted for all of us, in the name of what we all hold dear. It is only then that what once was lost will now be found for us. Thank you so much.